Hi, you are online with IntellectualRadio.com. Thanks for tuning in, logging in, Facebook and Live to check out LOL with Miss Nikki. I know I'm on a special time today because I have a fantastic guest on the phone. I wish I could have her in studio. Maybe one day we'll make that happen. But I want you to know that this woman here has done everything from TV to Radio City. She's done 23 movies, 19 TV shows, including Comedy Central. Please give a warm welcome to Miss Lunell. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, Nikki, I want to apologize to you for not being able to get to you sooner, but as you know, my schedule is madness, and we definitely will get it in studio just as soon as we can make that happen. I support you. God bless you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity today.
Oh, Lunell, I have mad love for you, honey. I've been watching you. Oh, my goodness. It's such an honor and a privilege to tell you the truth from me to have you even call in, because I do know how crazy your schedule is. And I'm just so excited for you with all the projects you have going on. I know you started in 1993. I know you're originally from Arkansas and you grew up in California. Did you grow up in Oakland?
I did grow up in Oakland and the Bay Area, Oakland and a suburb of Oakland called Castro Valley, which at that time and remains a very, very white area of the Bay Area. But when my parents, they're thinking in moving me out of Chocolate City, Oakland, was to get me a better education, which they actually did do.
That's awesome. And I know you're the youngest of 8. Are you the only entertainer out of your siblings?
Yes, I am. I have a brother who had aspirations of being a singer back in the day, but nobody actually pursued it. And even when I was pursuing it, it wasn't a favorable occupation because, nobody had never done it. It's very hard to be a first. And so, for a long time, they thought I was foolish and should get a job. And, the lifestyle I was leading was pretty wild and fast-paced, and I was the youngest, and they just thought I was crazy. Needless to say, they've all changed their mind about that now.
I am so sure.
Yeah.
Well, what made you start when you started?
Actually, the first thing I ever did that gave me the taste of performing was to be in the church choir. Because actually it's sort of like having a rehearsal on a Wednesday and you have a show on Sunday. And you better not forget what you learned on Wednesday, or the following Wednesday, you'd be reamed across the coals by your choir director. So that got me in front of people. And then I went into theater because I went to see a play a friend of mine's sister was in. I think it was called Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural Death. And we got to go backstage. It was opening night. We got to go backstage, and I saw the ropes and the lights and the costumes hanging. And we went to the champagne reception, opening night champagne reception, and I saw how people were adoring these people, and they wanted to take pictures with them, and they were eating little finger foods and drinking champagne and signing autographs, and I didn't know what that was, but I know that I wanted that. I want people to adore me like that. I want to take pictures with people. I want to live this life and then be able to perform. So I went from choir into theater, and from theater, I went actually into film and television before I ever even started doing stand-up comedy.
Was that how you ended up on Soul Beat TV?
Yes, Soul Beat Television Network at the time was an all-black owned and operated cable television network in Oakland, California, ran by the late Chuck Johnson. And it was before BET or anything like that. And it was in the same format, but it was it was the first. And Chuck Johnson knew of me from being around in Oakland. You know, all the entertainers pretty much know each other, and the buzz gets out about you. And he invited me to come on a couple of shows there, and then from there we just developed almost like a father-daughter relationship, and I began hosting some of my own shows, which varied between a Tonight Show format for a show that I did called Club 37 to late night talk when I had a show called Love Talk that came on from midnight to 4 a.m. And then just relationship advice shows and news around town. So I had a lot of television experience in Oakland before I even came to Los Angeles. So I never was afraid of the cameras or anything like that because I had that training in Oakland. He told me.
Oh my God, that is so amazing because I saw you went from Soul Beat to Radio City. I know you had a lot in between, but could you
Yeah.
imagine at that time that you would have ever made that stage?
No, absolutely not. It wasn't even in my imagination that I would ever play Radio City Music Hall. And even Madison Square Garden, they have a smaller theater at Madison Square Garden. And every year, April Fools, Tracy Morgan hosts a comedy show, and I got a chance to perform there as well. Both of those experiences were brought to me through comedy. I played Radio City with Cat Williams and performed at Madison Square Garden with Tracy Morgan.
And that was that the American Hustle tour that you went on with Cat for 2 years?
Yes, that's correct.
That was an amazing. I caught some clips of that, and I have to tell you, amongst my girlfriends who know of your comedy, the joke that they love the most is your straw joke. So I can't do the joke, but I want you to know that
Yeah.
that is the most talked about.
Well, thank you so much, and it's so true. I think that I'm not one of those comics who can sit down and make up a joke. I don't even know how to do it. But what I can do is talk about real shit and put the funny twist on it because real life is funnier than anything you could write anyway.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. When I do my comedy, it's all about stuff that I've experienced. With, like you said, with a little, I do with a little embellishment and see how we go from there. But
Yeah, it's just easier because you know that it's real, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. Now, in going through comedy, when you decided to start doing comedy on a regular basis, I know it takes so much time, and you get burned a lot. You do a lot of small rooms before you get to the big rooms, and you were a single mom for quite some time. How did that
Yes,
play
that's
out for you? Because you have a beautiful daughter, by the way. I think it's amazing that you brought her in some of your videos. I do incorporate my daughter in a lot of my things as well. I think that's amazing to show them the work and show them it's not always glamorous. But how hard was that for you?
Well, when she was little, it was extremely hard, very difficult. Lots of tears were shed by her and myself because no woman that when you think of a mom, you don't think of moms leaving the kids to go pursue their dream. It's just not the norm. But at the end of the day, you have to live for yourself. Your children are a product of you. And if you have a support system that will allow you to do that, then what you will show your child is a strong work ethic. You will show them that they should reach for their dreams as well. And I did have a strong support system because the gentleman that I had my daughter with had been a comic before I was. And we were best friends. We weren't in a relationship all lovey-dovey like that, but we were banging around and made a baby. And he supported what I did because he had been there before. I guess he knew.
I apologize. That's my Facebook Live trying to work, and it's not working. That interrupted you. No, keep going. Because I saw the video of you talking with him and your daughter, and I thought, how amazing. Did you really get his apartment for him?
Well, no, I used to, at one time, every comic is, on somebody's couch.
Oh, yeah.
And when I got off of the couches and finally decided I can't be living with people anymore, a friend of mine had a rundown studio apartment that they said, you know, you can stay here rent free because it's so raggedy. And I said, well, thank you, I'll take it. And I fixed it up and made it great. And I lived there for like 9 years. I was living there for the whole time I was in on the Cat Williams tour. When I finally came out the tour and had enough money from the tour, and Borat came out at the same time as the tour ended, I was able to get a house. When I got my house, I went back and got my daughter, but I've kept the studio and remains my studio to this day. It's more like a living space, workspace, office where I keep my merchandise, t-shirts, and we do a lot of inventory and everything out of there. So I still have that studio. And when my daughter's father came to Los Angeles to try to stay for a while and also to help out while she was in high school and I was touring, he stayed in the studio. So, you know, I didn't get a studio for him. He just got the studio by osmosis, and I still have it for, you know, guests and stuff like that.
That is so awesome you have that relationship, because most women would have taken the money and bought a casket and gotten rid of their baby daddy. So
No,
I,
he'll even be here with me and my man and for Christmas because you know, he's allowed to be wherever his daughter is, and we've always had a common goal in raising a wonderful, talented, healthy, God-fearing daughter, and I'm proud to say that we have done just that. None of my siblings went into entertainment, but my daughter is a bona fide dance beast. She's even majoring in dance fine arts at San Diego State University, and her first cousin, Zachary, is a fabulous singer and is headed toward Broadway. I just know if I can do anything about that, that's absolutely where he'll end up. So we have second generation talent in the family now.
oh, that's amazing. And I'm glad that you shared that story, because a lot of people do need to hear that you can co-parent and get along with, you know, your baby daddy, your baby mama, however the situation is. So, and
Yes,
be successful.
if you don't let your emotions get in the way, and I won't say that we haven't had, you know, rocky times from time to time, but because we both, you know, were in the same type of business, he knows what it is, he knows what it takes, and he believed in me, I guess. And then also, you know, he had only one child, I had only one child, so we could do this together. And that's what people need to really do is, you know, put your emotions aside, do what's best for the child, and show a unified front so the child doesn't feel divided and all that type of stuff.
As comedians that you watched growing up, was there anybody that influenced you?
Yes, there were several people who influenced me. Um, you know, most of them being men, of course, but I was very fond of LaWanda Page, and one of my very dear friends right now is Roseanne Barr. I watched Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett and learned a lot about expressions and movement from them, pantomime, as it were. Of course, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, Red Fox, um, even Rudy Ray Moore, who I worked with for a very long time. Even the Pygmy Markhams, and then, you know, more up to date was, of course, all my friends in the Queens of Comedy. And I have to always try to give props to the women, because 90% of the time, if you walk the street and you stop anybody and ask them to name their 10 favorite comics that come to mind, they'll name 10 men. And then you'll say, well, what about so-and-so? Oh, yeah, her too. And what about so? Oh, right. We're always a second thought. I believe that female comics are the most forgotten and not thought about entertainers in the whole entertainment industry, behind clowns, jugglers, and everything, because comics don't have a union. We don't have a union that protects us if we have bad shows and people don't want to pay us, or you get bad checks, or you get janky airline tickets. We don't have anybody to go to and say, hey, we got screwed out of this, can you help us? It's very much like being in a drug game. You know, you got to take shit to the street. in comedy because there is no union. You don't get any health care, any medical, any vision, any life insurance, or anything through your craft. You have to go from comedy into acting to be able to join SAG or AFTRA to even be able to get benefits. I think it's sad, but I don't see it changing anytime soon because club owners do not, I repeat, do not want comics to have a union.
I hear you. I hear you completely on that. And, I think you're right. People will name male comics over female in, in any setting. I totally agree with that. And
Yeah,
it's a
every
shame.
single time, every time.
And it's a shame because there's so many talented women. I mean, starting with Moms Mabley that I can remember going that far back, and I'm sure there's before her. But women who have paved the way, including yourself, who have paved the way for women like myself to get out there on stage.
Well,
So I applaud you because I have heard many of your interviews, and you keep it very real. And one of the things you just touched on about your knowing Bill Cosby, I saw your video, your interview with DJ Vlad from February about your
yeah,
Instagram post about the picture.
right.
And I want to commend you on how you responded. I feel like he kind of tried to redirect the same question at you, like wanting you to have to kind of take a side and say, yes, he did, or no, he didn't. And you flat out told him, I don't know. And I love that.
No, I don't know. And, he's certainly not the first, nor will he be the last to do that if he did do it. There's any number of athletes facing charges right now for roofing girls and putting them to sleep. What I don't understand, though, is why any man of that stature or good looks would have to do anything like that to a woman when there's several slutty women out there who would love to sleep with them on any given day. It must be something more to that these guys do that. Maybe they have a necrophilia complex or something like that, and they like to be with women who don't put up a fight or anything like that. I don't know. But when it comes to being a comedian, I will not take a thing away from Bill Cosby and the joy and the pride that he has given me in my lifetime, from his cartoons to his kids shows to his commercials to the Cosby Show. Nothing is going to erase that from my memory bank. And I'm very much a Black Panther type conspiracy theorist. And I do believe that actually some kind of plot was lodged against Mr. Cosby with these women and all this, because I never in my, 50 plus years have heard of anybody holding on to rape charges for 30 years and then 40 women come out and say, oh yeah, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too. So I'm really not buying it. It's a shame that they have destroyed his legacy and destroyed his spirit and probably destroyed his marriage. But that has nothing to do with the talent and the happiness that he brought me throughout my life.
I was also deeply touched listening to that interview that you touched on some very personal things that happened in your life. And I commend you for sharing that as well, because I'm sure somebody needed to hear what you had to say that day.
Yeah, my life is an open book. I didn't do anything to anybody, but people have done many things to me. But I'm not the only one, and I never was one to keep my mouth shut. When anything was done to me, I told everybody. It's just that nobody ever protected me. Nobody ever had my back, which has made me end up having, sort of a hard exterior when I'm really, not really that way. I just have to be that way to protect myself as an older woman. But I don't have anything to hide because I haven't done anything to anybody. And, if somebody did do something to me, shame on them. I'm not protecting anybody from anything.
And like I said, I know that you've taken those stones and instead of throwing them back, you literally built a castle around yourself. And I'm truly grateful that you are that person to be that example for somebody else. It's not easy by any stretch, but I totally commend and applaud you for that. When I watched that video last night, it just moved me so much. I had to watch it a couple of times because I'd started it, went back, and then when you started opening up, it moved me in such a way I can't even explain.
Well, I appreciate that because I don't say these things to not be heard. Even if you listen to my act sometime, or at least in the past, I would allude to things. And if people listen to comics, they can sort of tell the ones that are making jokes and the ones who really went through things. For those who have ears, let them hear, And so I just I just have I'm a very vocal person, obviously, and I know that I'm not the only one who has been through the abuses and molestations and drugs and incarcerations and stuff like that. I'm not alone. There's a lot of women out there who've been through that, but you can take those lemons and make a beautiful pitcher of lemonade if you so choose to do it and not get stuck in that place.
I agree. I hope women are hearing this. I hope everybody's hearing this, not just women. Everybody goes through something. I'm
Yeah.
so impressed. 23 films. Like, oh my gosh. That has to be.
And counting and counting.
I heard. And then the 19 TV. I got to tell you, one of the TV shows that I absolutely loved seeing you pop in on was Shaws of Sunset. I am a huge fan of Asa and Reza myself. I love her caftans, but I had no idea that you were mentoring Reza for his first time to do comedy, and I thought that was so amazing that he had you in his corner.
Well, first of all, I have a bodyguard who's Persian who opened me up to the whole Persian culture many years ago. He's now been with me for about 8 years, and people can see him on my Instagram. He's a beautiful Persian man, and so the South of Sunset came onto my view after learning about the Persian culture through my bodyguard. Asa and Reza have become very dear friends of mine. I was always fixated with the show anyway, and Reza did come to me to fulfill just a fantasy that he had. Be clear, that was just a storyline, for the show. Reza is a very established real estate mogul and is not giving up any of that to go into the stand-up genre. Some people just want to try it and they think it's easier than it actually is. I find out it's not. They get their cap peeled and they're like, oh no, I'm not going to do this. And they go back where they came from. But if anybody is sincere about wanting to do comedy, I give them the real hardcore truth about it. That is really no joke about it, and it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time. I just don't really have time for people who just want to. Everybody that I have mentored was just doing it for the bullshit of it. Nobody that I've mentored has really decided they're going to go into this and make a living just doing this. I think it's a decision that you have to make for yourself. Like if you're going to play something odd like the flugelhorn or the stand-up bass, you have to decide that you're going to do that for yourself. And you have to have a lot of self-confidence, and there's a lot of rejection, and you have to be able to pick yourself up off the floor after that embarrassment and keep on going. And everybody doesn't want to do that. So, yeah, while I did that for him, that was really just for fun and stuff like that. But, I do appreciate people who really want to do it. I feel like you shouldn't do anything unless you feel like you would die if you didn't do it. I feel like I would die if I didn't do stand-up. It's my therapy. It's my freedom. It keeps me from punching people in the face on a daily basis when I can get on the stage and for an hour and some change, tell people exactly what I think, especially after being the eighth of 8 children, when literally nobody was interested in anything I had to say for many years,
I hear you. How was it to do the Players Ball? To be in a room with like all these guys and to get up there and kill that stage, because that clip was amazing. I love that one as well. I've got so many favorites of you. I can't even begin. But I saw that.
Wow.
And
Oh, that's really funny. Actually, the Players Ball went on this weekend in Chicago. Bishop John Magic One, who's my very dear friend, and a bunch of my other friends flew out to Chicago to go to it. I would have went to it if I had thought that I wasn't working this weekend, but I actually was at home this weekend, a show canceled. And it was no different for me than doing comedy for anybody else. The material was right there, obvious, when they have all these canes and everything. I remember saying that they used to be on these canes for show, but now they need them because they got scoliosis and bad knees and everything like that. And in the pocket, the little vest pocket where they used to keep, money in cocaine. Now they got, nitroglycerin and blood pressure pills. So it was really funny to me to see these old players just get together and still wear the furs and still have fun. It's really comical to me. But, there was a time when these brothers had, women on the streets, and they were bona fide pimps and stuff. And that's back in the day when I was living in Oakland. They had made the Mac in Oakland, California. We had the Superfly era. So they were sort of like our movie stars at that time.
That is incredible. And I laughed because you came on stage with your pimp cup, letting everybody know your daughter made it just for you. I loved it.
She didn't. Actually, there's a woman in Chicago named Miss Debbie who makes them for all the players. And while we were on tour with Pat, when he was transitioning from Big Money Mike into Cat Williams, we all got pimp cups, and I just bought more than the average. And so I have a collection in a curio cabinet here in my house of all my pimp cups and decanters and all that.
That is hilarious. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I know you're like doing tours. So you've been doing stuff with Snoop. I know you were on the Bad Girls of Comedy with Snoop, and I think, don't you have a project going now with them currently?
Snoop produced a special called Snoop Dogg Presents the Bad Girls of Comedy. I give him all the love in the world for that, because nobody has done that since, not for black comics, since, the Queens or anything like that. And actually, Snoop's special wasn't just for black comedians. It was a Latina, it was a white girl, it was a gay girl, and two sisters. And we had a great time. We loved it. Snoop and I remained friends over years. We've done commercials together. We've done, specials together. And I just finished doing a roast for him that'll be on Fuse Network sometime in December, I believe, with French Montana and Paul Rodriguez and Michael Blackson and D. Ray Davis, and some Terry Crews and Tony Hinchcliffe. And that was a lot of fun. And I also do his annual Thanksgiving special for his GGN YouTube show. I've done that like 6 years in a row as well. So, I have a pretty fun relationship with Snoop. As hardcore as he may have been, and as talented as he obviously is, he really loves to laugh. He really does. And more proof of that is him and Martha Stewart's potluck dinner party show, which is a riot.
That is amazing. You must sleep at the red lights because you have such a calendar. Every time I see your projects, it's amazing. On top of doing all of this, though, I want to ask you, as a comedian, a female comedian that I feel like I'm still a puppy in the game. How do you feel about the situation now currently, since there is so much social media and people jump on and do these videos? Do you feel that people are not like earning their chops?
Yes, I absolutely feel like they should be considered in another lane rather than a comedian, but they're entertainers for sure, and their posts and things are hilarious and entertaining in that genre. But as far as and they can fill clubs, and comedy clubs are pushing them, but comedy clubs are pushing them because they have nowhere else to go. They're not renting their own theaters and producing their own specials. I think at some point, TV will probably find a lane for them to be labeled in. But for now, they're calling themselves comedians, which they actually are not stand-up comedians, but maybe there's some kind of comedian. I don't really appreciate it because the comedians myself and the comedians that I look up to and respect, our social media was word of mouth. Hey, that girl's funny. You need to go see her. She's down at the Blueberry Hill or the Carolina West or whatever like that. Or this guy is really, really funny. That was our social media. Times have changed. I realize that social media is playing a big part in commercialism and everything like that. But I do believe that there's nothing that makes you earn your stripes more than getting there out on stage and entertaining people for an hour. Most of the social media people don't have an hour's worth of something they can do in front of people. They have other people on the show, or they have, some skits or whatever that involves, videos and films and stuff. but to just stand naked with a mic and kill people for an hour that don't know you from a can of paint, that's a special skill. I think you have to earn that. And I don't believe that the YouTubers and the Instagrammers are of the same category. But I'm not taking anything away from them because I do, and so do a lot of people, do watch them and enjoy them quite a bit. I just don't appreciate sharing the stage with them. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I remember a while back somebody had posted something about doing comedy, and I think they were trying to ask you a question about it, and they I felt that they were kind of disrespectful, and I know that your response, you felt that they were disrespectful. They hadn't earned their chops about, they felt like they did it a couple of times. Hey, how do I get on a big stage? And you were like, what? Yeah, I don't remember exactly verbatim what you had said, but I could feel your pain because I've seen people uh, and watch people's journeys, and I know it's not easy. And it takes a lot of time and effort. And, social media has just made it way too easy for people to go out there and say, hey, watch me, I'm funny, come pay tickets to see me.
Yeah, way too easy and way too profitable. They can get more money than we can sometimes just by being popular and selling out the club. And then, you have people that are disrespectful and say, why don't your old ass give me a call? Maybe you can open up for me one day, and shit like that, which makes me want to slap the fuck out of somebody. If you even talking to me like that, the sacrifices I've made and the things that I've done to be where I'm at. But, everybody's journey is different, and God is the ultimate judge of all things. And so, you might be a flash in the pan now. Let's see where you and your Instagram followers are 26 years from now. I'm 26 years in the game. Some people think I should be further along than I am. I would like to think that. But all things are in God's time, and you can't take away what he has from me, and you can't give me what he don't want me to have. So that's the way that goes.
Amen to that. I am so in with you on that one. Oh my goodness. On top of everything else that you've been doing, I need to know, transitioning to acting, transitioning to doing voice work, because I know you've done stuff on uh you've done a comedy that's actually a cartoon, an animation on Cartoon Network. How was the transition going from film, stage to film, to now you're doing kind of an adult cartoon? Like, was it hard for you to have to build on a character that you're not even seeing, being in that studio?
No, absolutely not, because it's all about acting and the way that your director directs you. I can take direction very well. I think I have, I think that people have found I seem to have a distinctive voice where when people hear it, they know it's me, even if they're in another room. I did Hotel Transylvania 1 and 2 with Adam Sandler. I was very surprised to get that call, but very happy as well, because that's something that children can see that I do, and not much of what I do is made for children. And then I did, the Boondocks, and got paid more to cuss worse on Boondocks than I cuss in my normal life. And I do cuss a lot, and I like it. And I've done, Benicula and some other voiceovers. And it's one of the greatest jobs you can have. You don't have to memorize. You don't have to get dressed up. You don't have to wear any makeup. You just come, and it's all about your voice acting. So it was an easy transition to me. And I hope that the Lord blesses me to do even more of that in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I know that those roads are just going to continue to branch on out for you because you're amazing. I my favorite had to be when I saw you with in That's My Boy with Adam Sandler. I don't know how y'all filmed that and put it in the can because I would have been laughing every day on set. You guys were
It was a really, really, really fun experience. Very, very different experience. I had to wear prosthetic boobs throughout the whole film, and had to be upside down on a stripper pole, and they had to, rig things. A lot of stuff didn't make the movie. There were so many stars and cameos in there. I got to work with James Caan and Todd Bridges and Vanilla Ice and Tony Orlando and Sierra and Adam and just so many people. So yeah, there was a lot of laughs going on that set, and a lot of hard work as well. I like to think it's one of the funniest films I've ever done. Everybody didn't see it, but everybody still can see it. And especially if you want to see me in stripper outfits and boobs, being Sierra's mother. That right there is enough to make me want to see a film like that. So I appreciate you enjoying that because I enjoyed it as well.
I saw those stripper pole moves. I said I'm gonna have to tell Miss Lunell to catch me off air and send me the link on how to do some new tricks. I said if she can do it, I can do it.
Hey, you sure can. It's hard. I had to take strip classes for 2 weeks in Boston, and it was real serious. It was like training, and I'm not the best stripper still. But I tell you what, I haven't had no complaints from the guys, so.
And you've done some other stuff with Adam Sandler as well. I know you've done so many different movies. The American Hustle, though, that you did with Kat, how did you do that old nursing home scene with the old man? I died.
Somebody asked me about all that all the time. Actually, somebody asked me about that yesterday. And the real secret behind it is that it was at a real rest home. There were real rest home residents there and their kids and all that stuff that came to visit them that day. And they didn't tell me. And I was very concerned. I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this in front of these old people. What if some of their relatives come? So I'm in here talking about them. But those actually, the old people in the rest home that I performed in front of, those were actually actors from Central Casting. They all knew it, but nobody told me for about 2 hours, and they were fucking with me. But those are all actors, so those weren't real. Those people, those particular people, were not real rest home residents. They were actors.
Oh, you must have cussed people out for days when you found out. Oh my.
Oh, I did. Oh, I absolutely did. Totally, of course I did.
Well, I know we're getting close to the end of our hour, and I want people to know that Lunell has a fantastic website. Everything Lunell that you want to know about her is www.heylunell.com. Am I correct? That's the place for everybody to go?
HEYLUENELL.com. HeyLunell.com. You'd be surprised how many people you have to spell Hay for. They'd be like, H-A-Y. No, honey, not A. H-E-Y. HEYLUENELL.com. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Lunell, at LUENELL. And I have a Facebook, the official Lunell. That's my fan page on Facebook.
Well, I wanted to talk briefly before we get to the end that there's some stuff that you do that people don't know about. Like, I know you have an event coming up for some children that it's a motivational speaker, like comedian and some other stuff going on. I would love for you to elaborate on that for me.
From what I can understand, the stand up in the hall, I think that it is like that I'll be going to speaking and, being, myself for kids that maybe like in a juvenile hall type situation or in some type of incarcerated situation. Being a convicted felon myself, I can totally relate to what they're going through. And the fact that anybody even wants to come in and bring anybody to talk to them is great for me because I did all my time in county and didn't nobody come talk to us about shit or try to make us feel good or anything like that, except maybe some clergy. So I take great pride in the fact that they've asked me. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm looking forward to it, especially during this holiday season. I was incarcerated during the holiday season, missed my daughter's Halloween, missed my daughter's Thanksgiving, but got out right before Christmas. And I think I have something to say and some things to, bring to the table. And I'm very, very excited about it.
Well, that's amazing. And I'm sure the youth will absolutely appreciate it and take away something from your words of wisdom. I am definitely sure of that. I know you do a lot of other humanitarian events. Like, I kind of want to touch on that so people know, new fans and old alike, know a little bit what you do behind the scenes. Is there any one organization in particular that is close to your heart?
No, I have my heart in many different places, I have, just a minute. Janelle, can you grab the phone or text Mika back and tell her I'm doing an interview, please. I'll call her back. I just, anything to do with kids, you know, I'm very fond of kids and the struggle they go through and what they're, you know, what they have to go through nowadays, in these streets and stuff like that. And I just want to bring, you know, joy and happiness to kids and, you know, women. Of course, I'm down, you know, for my sisters because I am that and I support that. And I just don't want anybody to feel like nobody's thinking about them when oftentimes we do. We get tired of working and being with the kids and trying to please your man and trying to do all this, and you end up losing yourself and getting forgot about. And I very much want women to think about themselves. Let's get selfish a little bit, you know. You can't be everything to everybody until you're the best self that you can be for yourself. So I have those things on my mind, and anything that I can do, you know, that I have time to do, that I can do to, you know, push those subjects and feelings along, I'm down for it, you know.
That's awesome. Women need that support, and they need to know that, you know, you didn't wake up glamorous and fab one day and rich and famous doing comedy. You went through a life. You went through a journey, and you know, you had bumps in the roads, but yet you became successful. And I'm grateful that you share that with other women. Women need to see that.
Yeah, I definitely, definitely am a testimony that you're not, you know, your situation or your circumstance or your neighborhood or anything, and you can make your dreams come true with sacrifice and hard work, you know. But nobody's going to hand you anything. Nobody owes you anything. You have to go out there and get it. And, you know, I'm just a firm believer that, you know, the Lord recognizes hard work, dedication, and a good heart. And, you know, you may not get what everybody else has. You have to get what makes you successful in your soul. You have to lay down with yourself every night and know that, you know, you can feed your child and you can pay for their schooling and give them everything they need and some of the things that they want. So, you know, that is the real success. You know, you can only be in one room at a time, even if you have a 15-room mansion. So all this ostentatious stuff, we need to redirect some of our desires from trying to outbling everybody and really just try to help, you know, a little bit of our fellow man and ourselves become better people, you know.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I can't believe we're already at the end of our show, and I want you to, you know, let people know again where they can find you on social media.
Okay, on my Twitter and Instagram is at Lunell, at Lunell. My Facebook fan page is the official Lunell. And my website is heylunell.com to find out about merchandise that I sell, to look at film clips, to find out upcoming dates that I have, HEYLUENELL.com.
And I did post that you are going to be you're going to be around in December. Where again?
I'm going to Jacksonville, Florida this coming Wednesday night. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the new comedy club in Jacksonville, Florida. I think that's actually what it's called. And for the rest of the dates, you just have to go on heylunell.com, HEYLUENELL.com.
And I did tell everybody they need to start their New Year right in North Carolina, where you'll be there from the 12th to the 14th doing some comedy. But yes, please go to the website to check out her calendar. And any final thoughts, Lunell? Because I love having you on the phone with me. Oh my God, this has been such a moment for me. You have no idea.
Am I gonna be in North Carolina? I didn't know that. I better check my own schedule.
Well, I tagged you in it on Instagram.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Okay, I better check that out. But no, I just want to say, you know, going into this new year, you know, we have a crazy, mad, racist administration that we're going to be facing. But really, unless you're in a very, you know, welfare-esque situation, you know, it doesn't have to affect our attitude. It doesn't have to affect our money. We are in siege. We are at war right now. And if you know that and you try to just go on about your business and do your thing, hopefully we can get through this next 4 years or this next 8 or 12 or 16 years, because after him there will be more. The floodgates have been opened now for a horrible time in our lives. We just have to keep our heads up, be the strong, resilient people that we've always been, and we shall overcome.
Oh, all right. All right. Y'all heard that from the woman herself. Miss Lunell, loved having you. Thank you again so much for giving me of your time and, talking to us here at IntellectualRadio.com. And I can't wait to see you in Chicago one of these days soon. Hint, hint. Let me know when you're coming this way.
I absolutely will. Mary will reach out to you, let you know. I can't wait to meet you. Keep on doing what you're doing with your radio show, and thank you for having me once again.
Anytime, I love it. Give it up again for Lunell, everybody that's on Facebook Live. Thank you for calling in.
Yay,
and we're going out on Marla Yvette, who was also known as Giggles back in the day, to her song Party Over Here. That's what it was, Party Over Here. I had a brain fart for a second. But like I told you guys on IntellectualRadio.com here, LOL Miss Nikki. Remember, laugh till you cry or cry till you laugh, but either way, keep laughing, everybody. Thanks again for the love. Come on, hit the drum. Come on.